national movement in India, partition and independence from 1939 to 1947. This is the final phase of a national movement. You know that India was under the British rule for 200 years, right? And this final phase, the freedom movement, divided into the three phases. So in that it is a final phase from 1939 to 1947. So it was a very difficult situation for India because we know that it was a second World War period in 1939. Second World War started. So when war started in 1939, there were many provinces of India which were ruled by the Congress ministries. It was Government of India Act 1935, my dear students. Government of India Act 1935. This is the act Britishers passed to appease the Indians. It is 1935. At the time this act was passed to appease means to make Indians happy. What is there in Government of India Act 1935? The Government of India Act 1935 says that their elections could be conducted for provinces. That means all the parties, including the Congress parties, allowed to contest in the elections of the provinces. In provincial elections, Congress is allowed and the winning parties are allowed to form the government. So when elections are going to be conducted as per Government of India Act 1935, there is need to extend right to vote to the people, right? So the British Parliament, after passing the Government of India Act 1935, which says elections should be conducted and winning parties are allowed to form the government. So for this, right to vote is very essential to allow the people to take part in elections. So elections are conducted at national level, and national in the sense central level, and at states level. At that time those were called provinces. So in provinces only 12% of the people were given right to vote. For Central Assembly, 1% of the people, that means 1% of the total population was given right to vote. Whereas in the provincial elections, 12% of the population was given right to vote. So according to Government of India Act 1935, elections were conducted in British India. Keep in mind, it's not India, British India. What is by British India? British India in the sense India was under British rule. So when India was under British rule, it was called British India. So in 1937, British government conducted elections in British India. So that were called 1937 British Indian elections. So in that elections, 11 provinces of the British, in 11 provinces of the British India, Congress contested, and in that 11 provinces, 8 provinces were won by the Congress. That means in the 8 provinces, Congress had secured majority and Congress has formed its government. Out of 11 provinces, that is 11 states, in 8 states, Congress had set up its government working under the supervision of a British governor. So it was a Second World War period. The Congress leaders were in a discussion that as they formed the government in 80 provinces, when British decided to enter into the World War II, we discussed, no, it was World War II, Allied powers and Axis powers. Allied powers were against the Axis powers. The British wanted Indian people also should take part in a Second World War. So here Congress party representing to the Indians, and this party formed government in 8 provinces. So here there is a responsibility to consult these 8 Congress governments. They should consult. Actually, Britishers, what they did, when war started, Britishers announced that India would take part in Second World War on the side of the Britain. So here the British government did not consult the Congress party, which also formed government in 8 provinces, right? So British, without asking to Congress ministries, that means in 8 provinces, they declared that India would fight in Second World War on the side of the Britain, right? This was the thing. So the ministers, the Congress ministers who set a government in 8 provinces, they felt unhappy. They did not like this uh, work done by the British. So here, Congress was divided on the issue of this one, that most Congress leaders were opposed to the Hitler, who was a founder of Nazism, and also opposite to the Mussolini, who was the founder of fascism. Fascism, Nazism, these are the ideologies based on aggressive nationalism. They want to conquer the world, right? So Congress opposed Hitler and Mussolini, that is Nazism and fascism. And here some other Congress members felt, even we even we would have given support to British in Second World War, they would not declare independence to India. right? Here, most of the Congress leaders, they were against to Hitler and Mussolini. And some of the Congress ministers felt that we are against the British, so we should not support the British, as they did not consult India in during the Second World War too. And it is also clear that Britishers declared that there would not be independence to India, though India support British in World War II. So Congress leaders felt that they were not ready to give independence to India, right? And we were under colonial rule. We should fight against Britain because it is a colonial master to us. We are that is our enemy. This is the reason for Indians why should not we support. Okay, whether we have to support to the British in Second World War. Should the war be supported by Indians? So, do we have some reasons to support this British in Second World War? Right? Yes, we have some reasons to support the British in the war. And we also have reasons not to support British in the war. Okay, so here there are two kinds of reasons, my dear students. There were reasons for both, that is, for supporting the war and for supporting the war and for not supporting the war. Let us find that why should we support British in the war, right? First thing is that we did not like Hitler and Mussolini and their ideologies, fascism and Nazism, right? Because those are the ideologies to conquer the what? Independent nations, sovereign nations. They want to rule the nations. They want to take the freedom of sovereign nations, right? Their ideology is based on aggressive nationalism and dictatorial rule. So we Indians did not like dictatorial rule. We give importance to democracy, right? Which is in Britain, right? France and America, or not. So by this, as we are against to Hitler and Mussolini, then their ideologies, we have to give support for Britain, right? And another thing, why should we support the Britain in the sense, but we were under colonial rule of the Britain. So if we support Britain in Second World War, then after the war, Britain would go for giving independence to India. So these are the reasons to support Britain in the Second World War. So here we see that there are reasons to support Britain. Then why we should not support, that is against, there were reasons against supporting the war. Why we should not support the British? Because British was a colonial master. Britain was ruling India. That means we were under Britain colonial rule, right? We want freedom from the British, right? So that we should fight against the British. So we should not support the what? Britain instead. So there we see that if we it is the right time, sorry, if it is the right time to fight against the British. So we should not support the Britain. And there we see that their what you call British also declared that it would not give independence to India, though India supports Britain in Second World War. Knowing to this that the British is not giving support to India and we support British, it would uh, it would help the Indians that showing the double standards of India. Double standards in the sense we know that the British declared already that it would not give independence to India. Knowing to that we are giving support to British, right? So it makes the Britishers to come down and declare independence. That is one reason. Second reason is that during the Second World War time, here British in the British there was a Conservative Party government. Which party government? Conservative Party. That party did not many. There were many parties, but there was no single party government. It was what you call minority government or coalition government. What is by coalition government? Government formed by many parties. Government formed by what you call many parties. Many parties comes together and forms a government. When it happens, when no party gets a majority in elections, then some of the parties will come together with mutual understanding and form the government. That is called minority government. We call it a minority government because no party no party received majority. Understand? In that way, minority government. In minority government, there was democratic. Sorry, there was a Labour Party also there. Labour Party also there. Labour Party was ready to give independence to India. Understand? Whereas Conservative Party, it want to continue colonial rule in India, right? So in the next time after the end of the Second World War, elections are going to take place in Britain. In that elections, there is a chance of getting Labour Party to success, and Labour Party is supporting to India. So the Labour Party will go on supporting India in British Parliament towards our independence. So that Congress decided to support India. Understand? So this was the what reasons why we should support British and why we should not support British in the Second World War. Okay, so it is there were reasons for both and against supporting the war. So here we look at here that there are two reasons to support and not support. And another thing is that why we should not support the British here. Congress has formed the government in 8 provinces. How many? 8 provinces. So before declaring that India would take part in the Second World War, Britishers would have to consult Indians, that is the Congress ministers. They did not consult. So the Congress ministers felt that it is no use to be in power. Understand? So they walked out of the what to call this 8 provinces in the month of October 1939. The government, which was formed by Congress parties in 8 provinces, they resigned to their government and walked out from the government in 1939. So here we see that in 1937 elections were conducted. A Congress formed a government in 8 provinces, resigned it, and they came out instead. So when it was war time, so very difficult for India whether they were critical to take decision whether to support or not support. Understand? So in this, we see Congress also split into two parts. Some of the Congress members wanted that to support British Congress. Members only divided into two groups. One is pro changes. Pro changes. Pro changes means they decided they wanted that we should not support the British. Another is no changes. Okay, who wanted to give support for British, understand, on this issue. So anyway, we see that here the Congress was divided on this issue. Understand? Here it is there the point. Congress divided on this issue. Understand? Pro changes, no changes. Understand? So it was the thing that India, if British get success in Second World War, it would dismantle its empire which had built, and so that the British wanted to continue its rule in India too. Instead, so many Congress ministers were against this one, and the Congress also demanded that there would be immediately government has to be set up in India at a national level after the end of the Second World War, and Britishers were objected, saying that they will protect that the Congress is not protecting the interest of the Indians, because see Congress is a national party, so Congress demanding the what freedom to India. So Britishers want to keep their rule in India, and for that they decided to decrease the popularity of Congress party. So they raised that Congress is not representing to all Indians, to all Indians. That was a question raised by which one this British government understand. Especially Congress is not representing to the Muslims. This is the question raised by the Britishers. Understand? So that means it is the policy Britishers use, that is what you call divide and rule policy, my dear students. They wanted to divide Indians into the what you call Hindus and Muslims, understand, right? So here we see that they they stated that Congress is ignoring the interest of many Indians, especially it was not protecting the interest of the what you call Muslims. Here is the point here, understand what you call here. It is representing the what it is only representing only Hindus. It's not representing to the many of the Indians. That is a question raised by the Britishers. Understand? So at this time, we see that Britishers they started putting many questions on the British on the Congress that it's not representing to the Muslims and some other people. It represents only Hindus. Whereas the Congress says that it is representing to what all India. Understand? So here Britishers succeeded dividing the Indians into Hindus and Muslims. Okay, and Britishers they have gone for giving support to the Muslim League. Understand? Muslim League, which is a party set by what to call Muslims in 1906. Understand? This is a Muslim League formed in 1906, and this party was working to protect the interest of Muslim landlords of UP. It worked for protecting the interest of Muslim landlords in Uttar Pradesh from 1906 to 1930. So it was not a popular party like a Congress. Understand? And this party was brought to the national level by the what to call Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who was leader of the what to call Muslim League Party, and we see that British also decided to divide the unity of Indians by making Indians into Hindus and Muslims. So for that, Britishers supported the what Muslim League. Always the British government paid attention to the words of a Muslim League. Okay, why it paid attention to the Muslim League? British intention is that to decrease the status of Indian National Congress. Understand? So it strengthened what Muslim League. Understand? So Muslim League turned to what one popular party. Understand? Which was only single party confined to Uttar Pradesh, which did not turn to what to call protecting the interest of all the Indians, confined to only UP, that reached to the what national level with the support of Britishers instead. So here we see in 1930 seven elections were conducted. We are coming to that point again. In 1937 elections were conducted, right? And that elections were here Britishers were given support to the Congress, support to the what you call a Muslim League, understand? Which one? A Muslim League, saying that Muslim interests are not protected. Okay, and here we look into that in at that time at the provinces there were 482 Muslim seats were there. Muslim seats were there throughout the country in 1937 elections. So in that elections, out of 482 Muslim seats, Muslim League captured 102 seats. How many? 102 seats in 19 what to call it 37 elections instead. And for that, their Muslim League, which was given support by British, they demanded there should be some special seats for Muslim League in what to call provincial assemblies and central assemblies. Dear students, as per 1935 Government Act, elections were allowed. So most of the people in India are Hindus. In total population, the majority population are Hindus. So if elections are conducted, Hindus will vote to Hindus, so Hindus will get success. This is the question raised by Muslim League. So Congress also accepted this one. So some Muslim League demanded some separate seats. What a separate seats should be reserved for Muslims. So as per this, again in 1909, one more act was passed. 1909 Act, which is called Minto Morley Act. As per 1909 Act, some special seats are reserved for Muslims, in which Muslim people can contest and Muslim people can vote. After 1935 Act, 1909 Act also, before that only it was formed, so that this act again implemented to give separate seats. So anyway, with this 1999 Act, special seats were reserved for Muslims. As per that, elections were conducted in 1937. So in 482 seats of Muslims, it got only 102 seats. Okay, here we'll stop the class.